Alrighty guys, what's going on? So, it's been a while since my last update. I know that much. Shoot, I don't even know where to begin. So, I guess we'll go back to September. I attended a car show and I parked next to like some really nice cars and I'm looking at mine and I'm looking at theirs and I'm like, this just ain't gonna cut it. So, next day I get home, I completely tear the car apart, engine out, doors out, interior completely out. Like I said, stripped the whole car down, and I was like, we're gonna make this thing right. So from there, I sourced new doors, new fenders, new hood. Um, yeah, sanded that down as well, and was like, okay, I need a color. What am I gonna paint it? I wanted to keep it like an Audi OEM color, and Merlin purple has just always really kind of caught my eye more so than others. So that's essentially what I went with, and you know, here I am. I ended up painting it around November, which was kind of what I was shooting for because I don't have a paint booth. I can't necessarily control, the humidity and the temperature like you can a paint booth, at least when you're painting in a garage. So I just waited for like a 60 to 70 degree day and shot the car. Came out really good, but I ended up still having to wet sand it, buffed it after that. Haven't polished it yet, so still kind of on edge of like what polish I want to use because the Meguiar's 210 isn't really doing it for me. So we'll figure that out down the road. I'm happy with where it is now. I can kind of focus on everything else that needs to get done. So when I sourced the new doors, fenders, hood, I was also able to get like a really mint black interior, complete with like black seats, black carpet, black dash, most of the trim pieces. So I got the headliner over there, which I'm going to be doing like a black Alcantara. Should look really nice when it's done. But the interior is not really in per se just yet because I want to focus on the engine harness and actually integrating it into the chassis instead of using wire ties like I had it set before. Not the most ideal, but I did have around 25,000 miles on that and it did prove itself worthy. It's just now I want to take the time and the opportunity to really clean up and tuck the engine harness into the bay because before, if you remember, you had like the fuse box and the relay box on the driver's side. And then all the extra wires that, the C6 chassis needs, this car doesn't. That was all just kind of scattered, thrown in the back of the engine. Not the prettiest sight to behold when you want to take your car to a show and, essentially show it off. So the engine bay, that's looking fresh now. We went ahead, painted that Merlin purple as well. So now I got the engine harness here all laid out, which I'll take you guys over here in a second, but just going to focus on cleaning it up and then we can get that back into the car, wire all that stuff up, focus on the interior afterwards, which really isn't much. That should only take me about a day. And then that should be that. So I'm going to walk you guys over here. We'll just kind of have a look around and I don't know. So like I was saying before, I just really want to clean up this engine bay and painting it has really allowed me to start off with kind of like a clean slate, if you will. I do really want to get started on this tucked engine harness. Just kind of for the most part, hide all the wiring because if you remember before, like in that little area right there on the right, we had the fuse box and the relay harness and just wires were kind of running everywhere. Just as I played around with, what wires I needed and what I didn't. So this kind of gives me a good opportunity to start fresh. So also going to be running different coolant lines, probably along the fender wells, just to kind of keep them out of the way as well. Kind of go along with the whole theme of, again, kind of tucking everything and making it look more presentable. So we'll be getting started on that soon and looking forward to it. I think lastly on my list to do for the immediate time being is clean up this engine harness because it is absolutely disgusting. I mean, you'd be surprised how many wires it takes to run a 5.2 V10. And let me tell you, it is yeah, it's a lot. So, you know, it's about 15 years old. It needs a little bit of loving, and I'm just going to delete everything that I don't need from it and kind of go from there. But first things first is I got to kind of remove all this wiring wrath off of it because it is a pain in the ass. And, you know, you kind of have to remove each wire out of it one by one because it's almost like preformed to the wiring harness. So, bit of pain in the ass, but we'll get it taken care of and get this thing down to the essentials. So I guess that's about that. I'm gonna end it off there because it's like 9 degrees outside and I'm really cold and I got the space heater off so I can talk to you guys. So I'm gonna go inside, but if you guys want to stay more up to date on the car, feel free to follow my Instagram. It's URS6_Jolio. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description for you guys. But that's the freaking car, right? It's coming along. So maybe about another month or so, we'll get this thing dialed in, squared away, and start giving you guys some videos to watch of this thing just shredding all 4 tires like it normally does. Thanks, guys.